Hello and welcome to the history of Firefly. Today's episode, The Operative. And here we go. The Operative was an agent of the Union of Aligned Planets government. Similar to a Black Ops agent, the Operative's work was not acknowledged by the government. He didn't officially exist. He gave up his name upon becoming an operative, and he did not hold an official rank in the Alliance. His status as an operative could get him access to most, possibly all, Alliance facilities, as well as respect from those who knew what an operative was. He had been highly trained in close armed and unarmed combat, until he had his faith broken. He was devoted to his cause. After the Hands of Blue failed to secure River Tam, the operative was called out to hunt her down. He first visited the facility where River was held before her brother Simon broke her out, reviewing a holographic recording of the escape. When Dr. Mathis found him and asked to see his security clearance, the operative showed his position. Though the operative understood that Simon was acting out of love for his sister, he was more concerned about keeping whatever secrets River gleaned from the minds of key members of the Alliance Parliament during her training, which Mathis mentioned to Simon on record. For this, the operative killed Mathis's bodyguards with his sword before paralyzing Mathis with a nerve jab, letting Mathis fall on the operative's upturned sword. To locate River, the operative began broadcasting subliminal messages and advertisements all over the Alliance. Eventually, he found her on Beaumont, having gone on a rampage through a bar, the Maidenhead, before her brother subdued her with a Russian safe word. Noticing on camera another man picking River up, the operative ran a search and identified the man as Malcolm Reynolds, a former browncoat and captain of Serenity. Tracing leads to any of Mal's associates, the operative located Anara and used her to lure Mal into a trap. He tried convincing Mal that River would rain destruction upon him and his ship, and would be better off returned to the Alliance. His threats to fire on Serenity via its pulse beacon proved futile, as Mal had already removed it, and continued to insult the operative, who proved resistant to his taunts. Mal then shot the operative in the chest, unaware that he was wearing body armor, enabling him to gain the element of surprise when Mal's back was turned. Once the operative had Mal beaten, he was thrown back by a flash bomb prepared by Anara, enabling the two to escape. Once he regained his senses, he called his ship back to track Serenity via NavSat, but his quarry had deployed several decoys. The operative soon ordered simultaneous attacks on any ports that had harbored Serenity, including Haven, to give his quarry no place to hide. He then contacted Mal, promising more of the same until River was handed over. In response, Mal had his ship modified to look like a Reaver vessel to bypass Reaver lines blockading the planet Miranda, where they attempted to locate whatever secret the Alliance was hiding. The operative suspected that Mal would try to broadcast the secret to the verse and track down Mr. Universe, the reclusive hacker who has a transmitter capable of overriding all Cortex channels. Once he forced Mr. Universe into luring Serenity into a trap, the operative killed him, destroying his transmitter, and called in an entire fleet to intercept Serenity. The operative failed to anticipate Serenity's luring an entire Reaver fleet to Mr. Universe's planet, forcing him to order his fleet to focus fire on the Reavers. During the battle, a large Reaver ship rammed into the operative, splitting it in half. Grabbing a stun gun from a fallen soldier, the operative took an escape pod and followed Serenity to the surface, making his way back to Mr. Universe's complex. The operative came across Mr. Universe's love bot, Lenore, who had left a message for Mal, directing him to a secondary transmitter he missed. Confronting Mal, who smugly noted that he had finally made him angry, the operative reminded him he was responsible for the deaths of innocent people in bringing the Reavers. Mal stated he didn't know how true that was, and that he knew the secret the Alliance was intent on keeping, and planned to expose it. He then outdrew the operative, shooting the gun out of his hand and forcing him to take cover. The operative chased Mal to the transmitter before fighting him, only to be defeated when his traditional nerve cluster strike failed due to an old war wounds having caused the cluster to be removed. Mal punched the operative's throat, leaving him gasping for air, before dislocating his arms. Instead of finishing him off, Mal decided to show the operative his world without sin, and forced him to watch a report by another Alliance officer, Carton, revealing that it was the Alliance itself that had been responsible for accidentally creating the Reavers during their attempt to claim the population of Miranda. His faith in the union of aligned planets shattered. The operative ordered his troops, poised to kill River, to stand down. The operative soon arranged repairs to Serenity on Persephone and called off the search for the Tams. He then faced Mal one last time, telling him exposing the truth about Miranda might have weakened the Alliance regime, but he couldn't guarantee that they wouldn't come after him again. As for himself, the operative confessed that he would leave the Alliance. Mal threatened to kill the operative if he ever saw him again, which the operative assured him would not happen. Serenity, Leaves on the Wind novel. At some point, the operative exiled himself to a snowy planet, where his cabin was later visited by Mal. The operative assumed that the former browncoat was going to kill him, but Mal explained that he needed his help, which the former was willing to do. He aided the crew of Serenity in traveling to the Academy in order to rescue the other girls being experimented on there, as River was. The operative fended off an operative named Danon, whom he had killed by slicing his head. When Callista, the squad leader of the Disciples, arrived, he warned B to drop her weapons, claiming that by doing so, they both might still live. He narrowly avoided execution when the members of the New Resistance forced the Alliance operatives to leave. The operative was dropped off on Theoprasis, telling Mel he expected the Alliance to keep their distance from the crew of Serenity, for the time being at least. He was soon accosted by Zoe, seeking vengeance for her husband, who had died while escaping from him. The operative agreed that she had the right to do so, and it is implied from his comment, "I will defend myself," that the operative was killed by Zoe.